Hi, it's Kristen and welcome back to Joyfully Thriving. I'm here to spend some time today talking with you about my grocery budget and why my budget should not be your budget, but some ways that I can help you save money on it. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, let's start with the basics here. A couple things you need to know. Ours is a family of 6, so it's myself and my husband, and then I have 4 kids who are currently ages 8, 6, 4, and 2. 2 boys, 2 girls. Boy, girl, girl, boy, if you're really curious. And yes, they're still in that age where they're not teenagers, let's just say. They can be kind of picky eaters, but they do decent, but they're not eating us out of house and home yet. So I know that stage is coming, but it does make a difference what age your children are. Second, it also makes a big difference where you live. We currently live in northeastern Indiana and are very blessed with standard, wonderfully low Midwest prices, especially when it comes to our dairy. We've been very fortunate to have low dairy prices in milk, cheese, eggs typically, although eggs are starting to go higher, like everything it seems. So that is a big factor. Our family eats a variety of foods, but we do not have any allergies or dietary issues in our family. If you do, please know right now that my budget, again, does not reflect any special dietary needs. I know that you need to spend more money to fulfill those needs. I get it. We, fortunately, can eat pretty much everything here in our family. We did think there was a while that my daughter might have some peanut allergies, but that turned out not to be an issue. So we don't have any dietary restrictions on what we eat. In that same way, I don't typically buy organic. I would rather have a wide variety of conventional foods that I can purchase a wider variety of fresh fruits and vegetables based rather than limiting myself to organic. That might change at some point, and if that's important to you, it certainly can be. But for us and our family, that's what I have decided to do. Also, I do cook a wide variety of our foods from scratch here at home. We don't eat out a ton. We like to. My husband would do it a lot more if our budget allowed, but we do try to save money by eating at home. So that means I make our homemade bread. I'll share a recipe for that in the description below, but I make our homemade bread. At various times I've made homemade yogurt. I do a lot of just our everyday meals from what you would say scratch. Doesn't have to be fancy, but I don't buy a lot of processed meals. Like you won't see ready-made meals very rarely. Like I'll buy frozen pizzas and different things, but I do a lot of that from scratch. I'll buy a big bag of carrots and cut them up. I'll buy the heads of lettuce and I'll cut it up myself. All those things. I'll buy the box of cheese and shred them. Still do buy shredded occasionally because it is handy to have, but typically I grate my own. So those are some things that we do with our diet there too, and the foods that we buy. And that all impacts our grocery budget. Okay, so then for our family, what I currently use, and this is the fall of 2022 when you're seeing this video, our budget right now is $475 for a family of 6. Again, that reflects all of those things I just told you. And that $475 for me includes everything I'm buying at a grocery store. I know some people use it just to be food, but for us, I do a lot of that shopping when I'm already out and about, so it just makes sense for me to bundle it. So that includes our food. It includes paper products like our toilet paper and paper towels. It includes diapers. Yes, I still have 8 years and I still have kids in diapers, so yes, that includes our diapers. It includes also any toiletries that we need. So like shampoo, soap, any of those type of things. That's all included in that grocery budget of that $475 a month. Now with that $475, I do not break it up week by week. Some people prefer to have that. But what we do, and the way I found that it works for me, is I simply use that number. My husband gets paid twice a month. And I use that number to just get us through the whole month because I really shop based on sales. So, one week I may spend a very small amount, but then the next week I have the flexibility to spend a large amount. Now, how do I keep track of that? I do put everything on our credit card because we pay it off every month. We never carry a balance on our credit card. So for us, that's what it works. I simply have a little app in my phone. I use the Keep app, and at the beginning of each month, I just start a new month, and then every time I take a trip to the shop at each grocery store, I just put the date and the store and then how much the total was. And as I get another trip, then I'll add it together, so I always have a running total. And for me, that works. Now, I've been shopping this way for a long time. If you are just starting out frugally, I will say, and you're really trying to stick to a budget, having cash does force you to be very accountable. But for me, this is what we do again, and this is what works for us. So something to think about with that. Where do I shop? That's the other question I get asked a lot. So I am very fortunate, again, in that we live in an area where there's a lot of stores very close by. With gas prices being higher, I am all about combining trips for everything and making sure I do more than one thing at once whenever I'm going out. So within really a mile radius, I have all my major stores. I have Sam's Club, I have Kroger, I have Meijer, I have Walmart, I have Aldi. Those are our main stores. We also have some specialty stores like Fresh Time, Costco. I am not a Costco member, so I don't go there. Target, we of course have, but again, I don't necessarily shop for groceries there a whole lot unless there's a great deal. We have CVS and Walgreens, but our main grocery stores that you will see me shopping at most of the time are Kroger, which is where I go for my sales, and then Walmart and Aldi for my low price staples. If you're curious why, I have a whole grocery post about the cheapest grocery store where I compared prices at 4 grocery stores at over 185 stores. It was a big price comparison, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below, so you can check that out if you're interested. So that is where we shop to keep our budget that low. Now, the easiest way for you to figure that out with your budget is start by tracking everything that you spend. For the next month, save every single receipt you go and every time you go shopping. Just save it, put it in a pile, end of the month, add it up, see where you're at. That's one way to do it, because then you get a realistic picture of what you're spending. Add it up and you might be shocked at what the total is. Maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. There is, the USDA has what are called food guide charts, and they're fascinating. I do not think they are extremely accurate, personally, but what they do is they take the price of food and compare it across the country, and they come up with what they think people should be spending per week and per month. They take that cost based on the age, gender, and size of your family. And there's various plans. There's a thrifty, a moderate, and a liberal plan. So here's what's interesting about that. If you go look it up, and again, it's easy to find. I'll try to leave a link below. But it's the USDA price charts. And when you see them, a thrifty family of my size is supposed to be spending, ready? $1,252 a month. Now, wow, that's huge for us. I can't even actually imagine spending that much money. However, to be fair, I do not live in California or in New York City, where prices I know are much higher. So is that more accurate? Perhaps. But what I think is more helpful, I use those charts just to kind of make you feel better sometimes and go, oh, I'm not spending that much. It's a good thing. So if you're curious, check it out. But what I think is a good rule of thumb, if you're looking for a place to start, is you spend about $100 per person per month. Again, use that as a benchmark. It doesn't have to be right for your family, and it may not be, especially if you are limited by stores or you have dietary restrictions. You very well may need a higher number. Again, I share all of this hopefully to encourage you and be transparent about what my budget is, so you know as you are seeing grocery hauls and things that I'm doing, so you can understand how and why I keep our budget at the price point I do. Okay, so that's our budget. Let's just talk about a couple more things before I wrap it up. What you will see when I shop is that I very much practice what I call a buy ahead, or some people call it a stockpile. And yes, I do have a stockpile, and I really think and firmly believe that is one of the best ways you can save money on a grocery budget. What that means is, this past week when there are sales for Labor Day on ground beef, I buy enough ground beef to get us through several months at a time. And then, yes, I have an extra freezer, so I can freeze it and store it there. An extra freezer is is very important when you are trying to stock up and save money. That really will help you a lot. But when the more things that I can buy at a lower sale price means I have more room to supplement with things that I will regularly need and don't go on sale as much. So yes, that means I really am buying ahead. On a lot of my trips, what you're going to see is you might see me buy a bunch of ground beef one week, and then you might not see me buy any meat for the next month. That doesn't mean we're not eating meat, because we are. We're eating meat at most of our meals. If my husband's not home, then the kids and I will do pasta or something easy without meat. But most of our meals, we're eating meat that I have bought ahead of time on sale and stored in the freezer until we're ready to do it. So that is another way that I keep our budget low, by shopping the sales and stockpiling and planning ahead. So there's lots more tricks to say and share, and I'll have more videos for you. If you have something you really would like for me to talk about or show you or go into more detail on, please leave a question below in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to it or create a video for you if that would help. But again, I just want to go back to that first point. My budget does not have to be your budget. All of the things I share here are to encourage you that it is possible to live and thrive and keep a low budget for a family, a very frugal family. But whatever you are doing with your family is great. Start right now, start today, do something. Don't try to do it all. Don't try to take your budget and cut it in half this week. You're just going to set yourself up for failure. So start today, start small, and you will start seeing your budget go down. I have every bit of confidence in you that you can do it too. So stay tuned. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you stick around and share more as I talk more about grocery budgets and grocery hauls and how to save money. And yes, we'll be covering stockpiling too. So stay tuned and let me know if you have any questions. It was great to talk with you.